What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Aranda here, and I'm back with another video. So in this video, I'll be going over the GFS and European models on what to expect for the rest of May and coming into June, and also a few areas of interest for tropical development, which will be definitely down here and potentially off the southeast coast. But down here, been showing a lot of moisture and showing just a few days ago a tropical storm, which will be tropical storm author if it does form in the coming days, impacting Cuba, and Florida is still an area to be watched, South Florida actually. But we do see around 8 p.m. tonight, we do have a lot of showers ongoing across the central, even down towards the deep south and the southeast. Some showers and some thunderstorms could be embedded into this and that region I just circled. And then also we do have a rain and snow mix out towards the west coast for the northern part of California. Nothing too crazy out there. It has been really dry towards the southern part of California, which recently had wildfires burning in at least two areas that I know. And then also we do have some moisture down into the Gulf region of the United States that we need to watch out for too, to do anything sneaky if it does. So that was around 8 p.m. tonight. Now we're moving to 2 a.m. in the morning. We do have some showers still ongoing across the mid-Atlantic, the southeast, and the deep south. Still seeing some showers and potentially a thunderstorm going through western Oregon. And then we move that forward a little bit more. We do have that moisture hanging on into the Gulf areas, just along the coastline of Mississippi and Louisiana and Alabama. And then also seeing some showers through Arkansas, northern Mississippi, and northern Louisiana. Then we also do have some showers just along the Gulf side of Florida, and some lingering showers off the northeast and through the Carolinas. So we move that forward a little bit more into about 2 p.m. tomorrow for the 28th. We have some showers and thunderstorms going across the deep south, scattered showers across the Carolinas, nothing crazy there. Even down into Florida, they're getting some steady rain, especially in that region, moderate to heavy rain at times. And then watch right here, look at all that moisture in the Gulf. Got to make sure that I don't do anything and sneaky there, but it has been showing a lot more moisture showing up in the Gulf. And then also we is watching that area of interest near Cuba for a tropical development. So I move that forward a little bit more. We do see something get going right down there, far from the United States, but it's still kind of in the Gulf area, and that's definitely some heavy rain and potentially some strong winds down there towards that region I just circled. Still have some unsettled weather across the deep south. Move that forward just a little bit more, and we see that hang on, but it seems like it weakens a little bit and then it just goes away. And then we also see something tries you see a lot of moisture off the coast of Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina, and that region right there. And then when you move that forward around, let's see, 2 p.m. on the 29th, it starts getting a little stronger, but it don't turn into anything tropical look like, but it will bring some rain. But we do have look like a low pressure get going down from Canada that was bringing snow into Canada, go across the northeast, and it just hangs on there. Then we start seeing some severe weather, potentially a severe weather outbreak from the northwestern part of the United States all the way down to the deep south. That is a possibility around 2 a.m. On the 31st. Then we start approaching hurricane season pretty soon, which starts June 1st. We still see some unsettled weather across the southeast, but however, we do get a low pressure trying to form right along the coastline of South Carolina around 8 a.m. When hurricane season actually starts, June 1st. So we do have a low pressure off of South Carolina potentially. Then it starts getting a little bit stronger, almost at least tropical storm status, kind of near South Carolina, even bringing some rain up into North Carolina, southeastern North Carolina. But the heaviest rain do stay off its coast. Definitely gonna have some hazard sea conditions along this region, and regardless, depending on what it does. So I would not be surprised if the National Weather Service issues some hazardous beach statements for those areas. But we do have a low pressure that tries to get going off of South Carolina. How strong this will intensify, don't know, but this is an area of interest to watch. And then it get even stronger by 2 p.m., but not 2 p.m., 8 p.m. on the 1st. But it tries to pull eastward. But that's definitely part of a tropical depression or a tropical storm just off the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina around that time frame. It gets even stronger, and it just pulls away. But possibly have some wind and rain just along the coastline in some areas. Now we do have to watch as that pulls away. Pulls away around 2 p.m. on June 1st. We do see some rotation get going down there near Cuba, and look at that. That's definitely a tropical storm or at least a hurricane get going over Cuba. Like that's definitely has to be a hurricane, a high end tropical storm to a hurricane. Around June 3rd at 2 p.m. Going finna impact Cuba really hard, and then it gets going and it stays going just straight into Florida, like South Florida. It starts slamming it, possibly still as a hurricane. Um, and it slashes, it goes straight through Miami, it goes straight through the entire state of Florida, and it seemed like it gets even stronger as you get closer to Georgia, and then we start seeing that kind of stall out a little bit, bringing some wind and rain across Georgia, across South Carolina, even probably being felt in the eastern part of North Carolina. And then it weakens, and then it tries to make a curve west and start bringing some rain into Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, possibly Louisiana too, a little bit as we move that forward. But it just weakens and it just stays and just turn into just some rain showers across the central part of the United States. But regardless, we do see another low pressure that's trying to get going off the coast of North Carolina around the 12th for June 12th. But regardless, that definitely was showing at least a Cat 1 hurricane impacting Cuba and Florida in the coming days. If that does play out by the GFS, don't know if the European model is saying the same thing, but the European don't go that far out. But that is definitely a strong storm. So I'm pretty sure the National Weather Service is watching that. Would not be surprised around the first or second, if they get confident that this area starts seeing tropical storm watches or warnings, or even go ahead and put up a hurricane watch for those areas, even South Florida, as that storm just goes straight across. And then as it get closer, depending on where it goes, it might be extended up into Georgia and South Carolina as well. And flooded virus and stuff would be an issue like that too. But regardless, we will see some rain and some wind get going along the eastern side of the Carolinas. But it's definitely get a lot stronger as we get closer into Georgia and definitely Florida. But I want to point out right here, even though the storm is like in northwestern Florida, as it starts trying to make its curve west, as it starts going out of Florida, we do have some strong rain and wind just off the coastline of North Carolina right there. So that easily probably can go more inland and start bringing some heavy downpours, probably tropical storm kind of status in those areas, like weather-wise, probably like that. But that's definitely some strong winds and some heavy rain just pouring down on Florida. So definitely gonna have some destructive property out towards that area if that does happen. So we're just gonna keep an eye out on that, because we're definitely getting close, especially around the second and the third, of seeing something like that happening. But the GFS was kind of like an idea for multiple days of showing like a tropical storm going over Cuba, impacting South Florida, and going east and just bypassing Florida for some of its later runs. Now it's coming back a lot stronger, going straight over Cuba, potentially as a hurricane, slamming into South Florida. And then it just weakens, and then it just stalls out a little bit before moving its way westward. Well, still got to watch out for the Carolinas and even into the Gulf if it does anything sneaky, because especially if you get into the Gulf and kind of stall out, then it probably gonna have more time to re-strengthen or strengthen even more, and probably make a landfall on either Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, probably going to Alabama. So these are literally the areas we're going to be watching real closely in the coming days for any tropical development to impact these states right there. So Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, definitely Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas going to have to be on alert for potentially some tropical weather going through parts of those states. So let's go ahead and hop to the European and see if it says the same thing or has a different outlook. Let's see what we get. Go ahead. I just want to be nosy real quick. I don't like it shows it that far out. Okay, so let's go ahead and go and start off about, let's see, today's date is 27th. So we're going to start off around 8 p.m. tonight. We do have some unsettled weather going on across parts of the United States. Nothing too crazy there. Just a lot of scattered rain showers across the southeast and the deep south. We see a lot of moisture get going into the Gulf, but then it just weakens. We got a high pressure up here, kind of like over Ohio a little bit. And then it starts getting into the western part of North Carolina with the high pressure, but brings a lot of rain still back towards South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, Arkansas, even into Oklahoma, back towards Texas. We see a low pressure get going over the state of like Alabama or Georgia, kind of like near that line though. And we move that forward a little bit more. We still see some scattered showers and thunderstorms going across the southeast and the deep south and west coast. Still pretty quiet for the most part. See a lot of moisture up in Canada, even some moisture down in Mexico as well. And then we see a low pressure right there, just right there. We see a low pressure, and I think my thing just stopped. It did. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Just 1 second. All right, so around June 1st, right, we have a lot of moisture still hanging off the southeast coast, bringing some showers and thunderstorms across the Carolinas, down into Florida. Then, boom, we see a low pressure start getting going off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina. And it gets a little bit more stronger, a little bit, a ton more intense, but nothing too crazy, not as wild as the GFS was just showing. Potentially a high-end tropical storm to a hurricane slamming into Cuba and slamming into South Florida, including Miami area. It gets right there. It's right there. Then we move that forward. It gets a little stronger, but it tries to pull us away from the United States. And yeah, and then we have to watch out for the Gulf again. We can see a slight rotation right there, just slight, but nothing too crazy. And it just hangs on. And then boom, we see some more showers and thunderstorms going across the southeast and the deep south. A little bit, and then we still have to watch out for this region right here to make sure you don't do nothing sneaky off the coast of Florida. So last year we didn't have any tropical storms or hurricanes that I recall making landfall on the eastern side of the United States. I mean, it got pretty close for some of the storms, bringing some rain and some wind here and there, but it did not make a landfall. So that was kind of good. I'm pretty sure Florida was happy. Now, we did have a few homes in the Outer Banks regardless. I think it was destroyed from high surf, but the Outer Banks, for North Carolina, the Outer Banks sits out from the state. So, I mean, it's kind of shaped weird, but yeah, that's what happened there. But nothing, regardless, nothing too drastic happened last year, for as in the weather for hurricane season. So that's kind of a good thing. We could see some showers and thunderstorms go across. But it could be intense in some areas along the border of North Carolina and Virginia, but mainly near the Outer Banks though for North Carolina. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. We're just gonna have to keep an eye out on this area right here for potentially a high-end tropical storm, potentially a hurricane going straight over Cuba. Just look at that. That is definitely going to be a strong storm. Go straight over to that area. I mean, if that happens, and then go straight into Florida like that. So it's definitely a possibility that something severe could happen in those areas, and bring devastating flooding. You know, that's just gonna be a wild ride through those areas. But I'm pretty sure Cuba and Florida, this is not your first rodeo. Y'all definitely been impacted by Cat 5s, Cat 4s before. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified each and every time your boy upload a new video. And I will see you guys in the next one. If it's God's will, stay safe out there. And it's your boy Aronde out.